Jeg jobber mye med og så drev jeg og modellerte testdata, så jeg lagde flere kategorier med forskjellige ID og navn. Og de sorterer i en bruker sitt kurs, eller i kursliste, så sorterer de allerede på kategori-ID. Så jeg modeller, jeg hadde et kurs som ble databaser. Først satte det som kategori ID 3, så var det nederst. Så var det øverst, og 3 så var det nederst.
Yes, you should. Let's start. So just for the beginning, we'll just do the two for the teams do the demos and show the perspective, and we'll develop plans for the next sprint. And then we have the papers. And for the papers, just two comments. Number one is what we like to focus on is the take-home messages. It's not to go through all the details, all the papers. I don't know how you prepared for the presentation, but the purpose isn't to go through all the details. It's that, okay, what are the key? So if you have, what are the 3 key messages? So what are the key take-homes from the papers? Because they go in much detail for another study and define. That's the reason for including them. It's not that you are just to read what the papers and summarize. It's just to say, okay, what does it mean for our projects and for working globally? Up to now, you have been allowed to just pick one of the team to do the presentation. The rest is not kind of involved. And Ditte and I, when we talked about it, we wanted you to have a kind of discussion internally to be more reflecting on the question. So what we're going to do for next time is not let you do this way. What we would like you to do is to take a collective responsibility for leading a discussion on the topic. So rather than just go through and say, oh, this is what these guys did, and go on with your life, we would like to have a short discussion here, which means that you're going to collectively be the role of a moderator. And as a moderator, I don't know if you've ever been a moderator to the any conference or a meeting or anything, but if you're a moderator and no one asks a question, then the moderator needs to get the discussion started by having prepared some questions. So what I suggest is that each one of you think about a couple of questions or relevant comments or questions or thoughts about the topic, and then we'll use that as a starting point for having a little bit more of a discussion. Because the idea here is not to just slap the literature on the side, but just trying to say, okay, is there something we can learn in the context of working in open source and in the context of assuming that we have a part of the team that will not be local. So, but since we didn't announce it, we just saw it. I just saw it before or during the second or former seminar, and we didn't want to change what you already communicated. So that's why we start again. And let's do all that start with that business first, because if you go to if you go to next seminar, you probably saw that next seminar is 4 weeks from now, because you have some midterm exams in a couple of weeks, which means that in your planning for the next phase, you may decide or see how you like to do it, because it's just going to be 2 weeks amount of work that you should plan. So where you put the 2 weeks, if you do it in the beginning, in the end, or do 1 week now and 1 week at the end, that's up to you and depending on your exam schedules. But even though we have a 4-week period, you shouldn't assume that you have to spend more than 2 weeks working. So you have the exams, it's hard to do the exams and prepare the exams. So. And as I said, when we meet, then we'll do the demo, and now I will change it so that you should moderate the discussion. And there are 2 sets of issues. One is on, or that isn't overlapping, because in both groups you will find the question of insourcing, and you will find the issue of quality. But it's a little bit, so these are more general quality papers. These are more on the offshore insourcing. So think of having a discussion on the two papers jointly, try to discuss the topic that these two papers address jointly. So we have more focus on discussing and reflecting and commenting than on just this is what these guys did, which is not very helpful in that it doesn't contribute. This we try to see how it can be applied. It doesn't contribute much to where we are or what we want to do. But okay, let's do this. And as far as I understand, the overwork group would want to start.
Yes.
So that's whatever you need to.
First, the demo.
Yes, please.
Okay. It's good to see what you have done first, and we're gonna. Okay. So right here.
Right in front of you.
Is there HDMI port?
No, don't think so. You know, the world isn't perfect.
Okay. Again, we're doing our work. I'm first gonna just discuss and show the results of the sprint. We finished 2 issues. I'll actually just show that Scrum board that's better. Oh. So we finished two issues. One is to improve the choice results by adding some more fancy charts, pie charts. And the other one is to show the status of a user if they're online or offline. The other issues are still in progress. We've had some various kinds of issues. This downloaded progress bar. We've had issues with outdated version of Angular, and other issues with the other issues. My own issue, I finished the front end, so the swiping works, but I haven't actually added the functionality after leaving the message. So these will have to be worked on in the next sprint as well. But these two have been sent into review to Google. One of the issues, this one has been pulled back again because we found some issues with it. We need to fix, and then we'll create a new forward test again. And I can show you how this works in the application. So we're working on the mobile version. I'm logged in here as a guy called Jones. And here in an incognito window, I'm plugged in as someone else. I don't remember the name right now. Let's see if it loads. Yeah. So I can click on participants, of course. Get into this though. I can see that everyone with a red border is offline. And let's scroll down. I should find someone who is online.
No, just search for the link.
Yeah. Or it doesn't work right now. I'm testing.
Because you just have to, like do something on the app.
Yeah. I just refresh. I thought that would work.
Is it enrolled on the course?
Yeah, I tested this beforehand, just before now, 15 minutes ago. Yeah. Well, doesn't seem to work right now. I can
You
show.
just go and synchronize. Like if you go to the track.
Yeah, it's going to do the issue.
So the thing is, in Moodle, you have this timestamp, the last access timestamp of each user, and every time a user interacts with one of the modules, in either way in the web app or in the mobile app, then this timestamp is updated. So based on that timestamp, I've used it, and then see if the user, for example, let's say the timestamp is not older than 5 minutes of interaction, then the user is online. Otherwise, if it's between 5 and 10 minutes of interaction, then it's away. If it's older than 10 minutes, the last access timestamp, then the user is offline. So actually, the synchronization thing should be done. It's done automatically. I'm not sure how often it is done, but then this one then should work.
You go to messages.
Messages.
I think I sent a message to everyone. Just for sure.
Yeah. The best scenario would be to have a user on the web part and another one on the mobile part.
You mean on the right?
Yeah.
It shows what's red. This one doesn't show anything. So something weird is going on. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. I can show the other issue. It's that if you go into a course and go into topic, and then I created a choice activity. You can click on that. And this part works as before. You can choose whichever option you like. And you'll see down here, you can see responses in a chart. This is great. One guy votes that, another guy will vote this is okay. That's basically, before it was some kind of ugly tabular format. It was kind of hard to read. I can try quickly. Synchronize this on. Refresh.
Didn't show the layout change.
The layout change?
When they publish, the results are published.
Not sure what you mean.
Like in the dashboard, you can set the results of the survey or choice to be published, so you can see the user's name. And,
yeah, you'll see. In this, you'll see. Oops, wrong one. This, you mean? You'll see their name.
yeah,
Who
the
voted what.
names and stuff.
Yeah. It's a setting admin panel, right? Yeah. So I didn't show that. You will see the profile image and the name of the user who voted which option. That's basically it. And we have, yes, as I said, we progressed on other issues, but we have problems with them. And in retrospective, we had some bad things. First of all, we had problems with the environment first, still. I think we fixed all of them now. So it should be good for next spring. But we used some more time on that than we planned. And yeah, had to use a lot of time to getting to know the code base, the application, to understand how it works and all the abstraction layers and the web service and all that. So some time went on that, but then on the good side, we are more ready for next sprint. And we think that the mobile framework is somewhat bad in that it has a REST API, which is real-time proxy API, and it uses outdated libraries, outdated NPM and Angular, and it has many layers of abstraction, so it's hard to understand what's really going on. On the good side, we have been working together at school, which has helped a lot by sharing knowledge, what we learn about the framework. And we have got something actually working, 2 issues working, 1 issue somewhat. And the other issues are in progress, have been progressing. And for our next sprint, we will consider doing pair programming for some of the issues. Some issues will probably be fine to go alone, but some issues you might do pair programming, especially for issues that you're more uncertain about and that are bigger in scope. Because on some of the issues, right, this sprint we actually kind of work in pairs on some of them. Next sprint we'll update our project backlog. We'll have to look for my issues in the Moodle tracker, but we'll also continue on our unfinished issues. And we'll have to fix, like we have sent them into review from Moodle, and they will probably have something to complain about. So we'll have to use time to fix this and continuously improve our pull requests to them so that they will accept it eventually. And we'll have to get more familiar with Moodle mobile development environment. And that is it for this sprint retrospective. Any questions?
Yeah, a few. If you go back to the Jira board,
Yes.
so the new column and done. I think the initial idea here is that after ready for review, it will be in review. So the new column should probably be in review,
Yes.
which means that you don't pull them over to done until actually being reviewed, because done means that they are completed there. Is that?
Yeah, we discussed it. We discussed it quickly, and what we like. There are 2 ways to doing it. Either we have it like ready for review and wait until it's been accepted in the Moodle tracker, and then put it to done, or we have our own internal progress where we do our own internal review and then submit it to the Moodle team where we put it to done. And then we'll continue fixing the issue until it's done. So we did that. So we do reviews, like work on the beacon, submit for review, and I review it and test it first before they actually submit it to Moodle. This is how we chose to do it. That's why it's done now. It's a bit, I don't know the perfect solution, because if we don't do it like that, our gunner chart will be really weird, because it will take a long time for Moodle to actually review it, at least half a week experience from the previous issue. So it will look like we actually didn't do much this sprint because of that. So I'm not sure about the best way to do it.
Yeah, me either. I mean, what I would think is that I agree with you that done should be you have done what you think is necessary and is needed. And now, if it's not being accepted, then you need to estimate and drag it back as a new estimate, because it needs to be reopened and estimated.
Sprint.
Yeah,
Or the next sprint.
Yeah, potentially. But what I mean, the new column, either you take it away, or it should be in review, and in review means that.
Yes, it should be in review. It's, I think it was in review before, but I think it was when you're updated or something.
Okay. Yeah, but I think you may have the right to change it. If you go to the board, configure.
I have already looked at it.
Swim lanes. Look at swim lanes.
Wait for it to look.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can look at it. Otherwise, I can change it. If you look at swim lanes,
You see,
just, okay. So it's
I don't know if someone else on our team is administrator, but at least I can change.
I can see
board administrator. I think because I think I don't think I ever gave you administrative privileges on the project. So who started the sprint?
I started the sprint.
You
So
have
I
a-
can start sprint.
You can start
I
the sprint.
manage
Okay, then you are an
sprints.
administrator. Okay, so then that's not the issue. Okay, well I'll solve it up.
Yeah.
If you go to the retrospectives.
Yes.
So you said bad. Now, the reasons for doing a retrospective is to learn from it.
Yeah.
So that something is bad is not necessarily so useful. So the question is, what would you learn? What would you do differently? What did you learn about the initial environment problems? Is it something you could have done differently? Something you will do differently? Something that so how? I mean, the fact that it's bad doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that we should discontinue doing. It's hard to say. So what are your thoughts about what can you learn from this?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the environment problems. It's not something that will change because we actually solved it now.
Exactly.
So I see your point there.
What you can do is, of course, as we already try to do, is to make sure that next time we do a project, we set aside even a little bit more time to get familiar with the environment.
That also will apply to the next, about getting to know the code base
Yes.
and new frameworks. We actually tried to do that previous sprint, but maybe we should improve that as well.
So how did it work? You have a kind of build master,
Yeah,
and that has been, you have been involved in getting the environment up with everybody, or is it something that
yeah, I
you've done?
helped, like we've done it differently for each version, that I helped some of the guys having problem
Yeah.
with their initial version, setting up in a different way. So yeah, we did that. You guys can also comment input.
And then the last bullet point there, Moodle mobile framework is bad. What is the consequence for you? As do you need to do anything about it, or is there?
We have considered it. Martin was supposed to did look at it, I think, about updating version of at least Angular library. Yeah.
But then there was other dependencies that required the older version, so it was kind of a loop there.
So yeah, maybe we can talk with the Google devs to see if there's some solution to that.
But the thing was that the code base I had on my computer last week was not updated, so apparently they had updated the Angular version while I was struggling with getting the thing working, which I discovered on Saturday. So we might be able to update it to the latest version, yeah, hopefully.
And the question about the thing you like to change. Now,
Yes.
pair programming. Any thoughts about a global team if you had been a split team, and any thoughts about how you would organize this in a global team?
Pair programming. If everyone of us were split, it's a bit hard to do. Of course, you could do it through Skype, I guess.
Screen share.
Yeah, screen.
Is that practical?
Yeah.
It works?
Yeah,
There's
I've done
also
it a few times
programs
before.
that allow you to take over the computer of the other guy.
Sure, but I mean, in reality, it would work. I mean, having 3 hour where it sits.
I'm not
Yes,
sure.
right.
I've done it myself. Martin says.
I have some good experience with using TeamViewer. It worked quite well.
I think it will work well, but not as efficiently as if we sit together.
But this is something we're going to come back to the next seminar with the papers you have done. But some of the issues here are communication issues. So if you have two teams, then if you do pair programming over distance, it's slower for the programming task, but it might be improving very much on the communication and the knowledge on the two sides, which means that the other problems are going to be smaller, and you may gain a speed up in the project in total, because you save a lot of confusion, save a lot of extra work that you have to redo. So it might overall, even though this part is a bit slower, the overall project might be more efficient in doing this way. So as long as you get the work, and as long as the programs are okay with it, and they can sit in front of that shared screen for continuous time.
Yeah.
If you go to the planning, so get more familiar with the mobile development environment. Is that something you gonna have one doing, or all of you doing, or?
That's how it's gonna be everyone, because everyone needs to be familiar with the framework. So I think it's something that we'll do continuously, getting more familiar, and we'll always need to have some time to do that during a sprint. It will be less and less.
Any ideas on how much efforts you need to estimate?
I'm not sure. We'll have to look at it in the sprint plan, which we'll do afterwards, I think. Because we haven't actually planned the sprint yet.
But every issue we get, like we are assigned to do, then you have to kind of go through every module that needs to be explored for that issue to be solved. So like this process is already included in the estimated work for each issue, like probably like 30%.
Like, because I mean it's
usually if you do estimations, then you have estimate multiplied by something between E and pi, 2.7, 3.1, somewhere in between there. And if you have a fixed budget, then you can do only 1/3 of the amount of work you think you want to do.
so this is in reality this is probably what you're going to see, in that it's hard to know the problems, it's hard to know how and also when it comes to, even though you don't look at the approval process from Moodle, it's hard to know how much extra work that would give you in the end. So there are quite a little bit of changes in to be expected, or unforeseen issues.
I have to include that for next sprint for issues.
Yeah.
That's important.
Very good. Thank you. Global 18. Less global than what it used to be.
We started out global,
It started on global.
still in our spirits.
Right, that's important. That's the most important part.
I guess they have to process from the mobile phone to careful on the data.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because when I was working on the issue, I was modifying the process to get different software, and when I changed it in the movie, it took like 3-4 minutes before it changed on the mobile.
Yeah, like the local and
Yeah.
it's a role. It's an unwritten law. When you present Facebook.
Yeah, mobile.
But it's a perfect. So, okay, so I'll just start with a brief outline, like how we organized this retrospective and what we included. So we firstly have the initial work, which took like 1 week, and we didn't call that a sprint. It was just that. And we have the sprint 1 that lasted for 1 week. What we have done during these 2 weeks, we have a breakdown chart of the sprint 1, and then we have the demo of one of the plugins that we created. So we created 6 plugins, and we'll show a demo of one of them. We'll show an extra plugin that Gregor created by himself, and we'll show the main plugin that we all created, the chess block. And then we have a retrospective, what went good and what went bad, and we have a summary of the meetings that we had during these 2 weeks. So the initial work was like kind of a warm-up sprint where we all decided to create a simple block by individual and work individually. Those blocks like kind of have more static data, JavaScript, RCC, and something similar. And after we did that, we kind of started brainstorming what we should work on as a group and start the sprint 1. We created the project backlog in Jira with some issues and tests to work on the plugin that we created, ChessBlock plugin.
Yeah. So our second week, we had this short sprint 1 week. We all got together and wanted to do this ChessBlock plugin, which is kind of an exercise how to work in group and estimate all of these two things. And we chose story points and used Agile Poker, and we ended up with 17 issues and in total 26.5 story points. So what we have done in total, those these 2 weeks, is that we've created 6 individual simple blocks. So we set up the boilerplate plugin for our ChessBlock plugin and got into how to do some database with Moodle. And we did some basic integration with Chess4.js and Chess.js, some libraries to easier show a chess board and how to move and basically do a chess game. And we were able to set up a single-player chess round and also play against a random computer, random moves by the computer. And yeah, it only allows legal chess moves, and you can also save and load the game, so you don't lose it when you close the browser or lose internet connection. Yeah. And the burnout chart, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Right, so we're going to get to this in a later part, but as you can see, we did a bit bad estimation somewhere, and we did a lot of the work in chunks as we have a lot of other stuff to do. So like right at the meeting, we did a lot of work, and then closer to the end, we also had some group meetings and did a lot more of the work as well. But then again, like with all other courses, especially over next week, I don't expect this to change that much. We're probably going to allocate specific times for the group to work on this, and then it's going to flow more or less in the same way. So, cool. We just talked theory here. I want to show you something as well. Right. So first of all, we decided, as we talked about, to create just some simple plugins for testing, because the default simplest plugin in Moodle is the block plugin, which is more or less just a block on the side of the screen there. Like more or less online users, that's a block. More or less private files, everything there is a block, which you can add to all their courses, to the front page, stuff like that. It should have really confined functionality and just more or less do one or a few things. But that served as a very good basis for testing out our different applications. So first of all, we just found one which was called Core Status Tracker and just sort of reverse engineer that, because the documentation for Moodle plugins is close to horrible. We couldn't find anything, and half the things we wrote was just more or less guessing, and suddenly it worked. Yeah, that might not be the best approach anyway. So we reversed engineered one, which had more or less all the features we needed. Then I implemented a bird news plugin, just like it uses the notification system and pulls the latest news from our remote website. But do you guys want to see how that works? Just shows up pop-up. Oh, you want to see it? Perfect. Right. So just right, I might not have passed it that now. Just pulls from a remote news website here. Okay, so if we just go into news on this site, which is just hard-coded currently, that just loads from my API call here. Fast internet, that's perfect. Yes, okay, cool. But then since the internet is slow, this might not load at all. So we'll see. So that works. With any luck, it should appear in the bottom right corner of the screen within 1 to 10 seconds. Yes, there. That's loaded through the plugin, with the block plugin. So it's that was relatively easy to do. That just took like 1 day at top. So making plugins is more or less easy or doable once you understand the API and how it works. And then again, like there's another problem we came across, that it's hard to know what today's dinner in the cantina is. So hey, what the hell? We made a plugin for that too. So this is today's dinner in cantina if anyone wants to eat today. And that actually turned out to be technically the most useful plugin we made. But then again, loading up Moodle on my computer just for looking up the dinner is quite slow. But if you had Moodle on this school. Yeah, interesting fun fact. He used to use Moodle a few years ago instead of Fronter.
No, in addition to it, there was one group, yeah, one group up here using for some distance courses, but for the regular on-campus courses, there was always Fronter. But for distant courses, for distant students, Moodle was more flexible. So they, in the beginning, they decided to go with it, but they were kind of stamped on and turned down. And IT didn't want to serve the Moodle installation, so that's why they had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's,
I think this is the proper website. So you can see the old and beautiful liquid overloads. I don't think it's going to be. No. Yeah, there you go. This is the HIG movement, which hasn't been updated.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's for the network-based courses. So.
Yeah. Right. Cool. So it exists.
Yes.
But then you want to see the best part here. The amazing chess block, which is more or less we implemented the chessboard JavaScript library, which handles displaying a chessboard and be able to like move pieces by dragging them. And we also integrated it with chess.js, which is sort of more or less the logic part, which handle like, is this a legal move? Are you in checkmate? More or less everything except the AI. But interestingly enough, we could not find a single AI to integrate this with. We couldn't find any JavaScript AIs that work with chess at all, even though chess and chessboard is the most popular choices if you're going to make a chess game. So, but then again, for this course, it didn't really matter. Like a random AI is an AI at least. So anyway, here you can then start a new game of chess against a random AI. And when I say random, it just loops through the list of available moves and just select one randomly. It's that smart. So like, it doesn't care at all if I do this. But since it only can do moves that will defend the king if it's in check, then it actually will behave logically if you try to attack the king. So there's some logic to it. But anyway, at any given state, then you can save the game, which is incredibly fast doing Ajax in Moodle. Like you see, the page takes now approximately 5 seconds to reload. Calling the API takes milliseconds. It's nothing. But anyway, then you can load the previous game state, as you can see here. So it does that by saving the fen value, which is the current positions of all pieces in a string, and also the PNG, but it doesn't load it currently. We're working on it. But the PNG is portable game notation. It's more or less like this has happened since the start of the game. So each time you move a piece, it should add it there. All right, this actually has it loaded. Like if you features, still working on some bugs there. But like if you start a new game here, you can see that PNG is empty and move one move. It saves that move and other players move. So it's so more or less generic interface to saving. Yes, so that is more or less what we have. You can play chess, you can save it, you can load it, stuff like that. And we're thinking about implementing this with, well, black being another player, more or less. I'm also looking into an interesting concept we came across where like several players play as white and several players play as black at the same time, and they sort of vote on which move to make, and the majority sort of wins a bit like some Twitch streams do. But yeah, that's more or less what we're working on. Is there anything you want to see? Is there any questions? Liz, or you want to say it to them? Yeah.
Where do you get the issues from? Like, do you get them from the Moodle tracker, or you just?
Oh, we just created this. Like, there's actually no one asking for a chess plugin right now. So we just sort of came up with this because it needs API calls, it needs database, you need to display something, it needs JavaScript, it needs PHP, everything. So by doing this, we know and more or less have documented the API as we need it if you decide to make something else more advanced. Because, like, come on, a chess game inside a learning management system might not be the best selling point anywhere, unless you want to relax something. Yeah, we can get back to the presentation. Yes, Nikita. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
Did you switch?
No, it's doing the.
No. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, super. Ja, någon pröva?
Ja, sen får man väl fem.
Mm.
Ja, på fem.
Kontroll nu. Ja. Ska du trycka? Jag följer. Ja, de är inte utläsning för det. He's using Mac, so have him excused or something.
I'm damaged.
Oh my god, what the hell did you do? And refresh doesn't work. Perfect. So anyone know the key code for showing the...
Yeah.
So look, demo, and then here.
Yep. Yeah. So what's been good in this sprint is that we all know how to make basic plugin. As he mentioned, we used the reverse engineering, and we also made some of us made an even simpler one. We had good group meetings. We met with Rune. And we finished our sprint. We did what we planned to do. We actually overestimated. The task we set out to do was easier than planned. I hope we thought. There was one group member or two group members at most who did all the coding, so we need to distribute the work better for the next sprint. We also should find more decoupled tasks, so it's easier for all team members to work at the same time with the different tasks. And we need to do some code review on how to follow those Moodle code standards, which we didn't do now. Yes, so these are the meetings we had this sprint. As you can see, what we did, we lost one team member who was supposed to be distant.
He got sick and dropped out. So Alexander from Helsinki. He was in Helsinki, right?
Temporary.
Yeah, but our only remote dropped out, so we're not global anymore.
Yeah. So what we're planning to do is first we want to finish our plugin, add multiplayer and other features to this plugin. Yeah, work with translation and DGN exporting system and stuff like this. The important thing is we have to publish this plugin because we have to go through this process of publishing things on Moodle with their issues with their plugin publishing system, because we don't have any experience now with that. The basic plan for next spring will be to find three more plugins to make and split team in sub-teams to make these plugins as an idea. So we're going to brainstorm and find plugins to make. Yeah, we're going to discuss papers on for next lecture. And since this sprint will be combined with deadlines on other courses, yeah, we basically will have to have some time taken for this course.
So, questions?
Kind of the same. If you go back to the retrospective, kind of the same commands as we had before, and that is when you look at good and bad, it's not what good and bad happened, but what did you as a team do that was good and bad. So for good, effective meetings, how did you actually make them effective, and what should you do again to make sure that meetings are effective? Because it could just be by incident, or it could be because you deliberately did something. And supervise a meeting, obviously you call for the meeting, so that's your kind of activity that result in this, which is good. But then for finish the first sprint, what did you do that made you succeed in finishing the sprint? That's what's interesting and important, because the outcome of the events you may or may not have control, but what you do have control of is what you do. And if they result in something good or something bad, there's something to learn from it. So that's why I think you should be more focused on the activities you took, the actual decisions you made, the choices you made, and which of these were good and bad. Because the good ones you would like to repeat, and the bad ones you would like to learn from. And here there are, I mean, effective meetings. You don't learn so much from having effective meetings other than knowing why they were effective, what you did to make them effective.
Oh yeah, like during the meeting before class in the retrospective, we talked about each of this, like in the why sense. Why did this work? And
yep.
What can we do to make that?
That would be good to put on the notes. We did this that made the meetings effective. That would be good.
Oh, we have that, but again, like there's a bit of limited space there, so
yep.
we just
good.
have a shorthand.
So if you go back to the burnout chart, question there is. So you were saying that, because I mean, there could be two reasons for this kind of chart. You were saying that, okay, we had a lot of work in the middle, so we did actually work in the beginning, we did work in the end, in the middle there wasn't so much progress. Because the other thing could be that the tasks are a little bit too large. So if the tasks are too large, then typically you need a long time before you get to the end. So if you have tasks that will be estimated 2 weeks to do and have a 2-week sprint, then everything's going on to the end, and then you're all done with the end. So, but you were kind of saying that it's not the size of the tasks; it's the fact that we didn't work in the middle part, which is good.
Yeah, like no, not even one of the tasks we did here was overestimated, or all of them ended. No, sorry, like there was, yeah, we underestimated. So I started a bit too little too much. The first few tasks there was around 1 to 3 story points each, and they took less than half an hour. So estimation was bad, but then again, a lot of these tasks was.
Yeah, but what I'm more aiming at is whether the tasks were of proper sizes. Because if you create big tasks, it is to be expected that take a long time to finalize. So that we will have that burnout chart anyway, because you spend a long time. So if the tasks are inappropriately designed, you get a similar type of. So my question is, do you think that the tasks were of correct size? It's just that you didn't have the time to work in
They should have been larger, actually. Like,
okay.
Average, or me at least, I'm aiming for not having any task exceed 5 story points, because then it's a really good idea to break them down even further. And here I think the largest task is 3 story points, if I'm not mistaken. And so that was our goal. But again, since we didn't know what we were doing at all, we sort of overestimated a lot.
Which good, makes sense.
To learn a lot.
Yeah. But that's something to continuously review. I mean, the burnout chart and how to interpret it. It's you may learn from that, saying, okay, there's how can we organize the work so that, I mean, it may not be a problem if everybody's happy with this kind of figure and you spend time, then you have a hard beginning and hard end and nothing much in the middle, that's fine. But if there is something with the allocation of work in the sense that it's too large chunks or too small chunks, then there's something to learn from it.
Yep. But then again, like the Bernard chart works more or less best for companies that actually work in this, let's say 8 hours each day, and those time, because like we have 4 other courses, and like of course it's going to be jumps all over.
Yeah, you know, I like that attitude because when you go out in industry, it's not that clear either because you work on several projects at the same time and you have customers that ask for the same delivery at the same time. So it's not like the world out there is any better than around here. So okay, well, I like the attitude. Okay, so let's
perfect world at least.
we'll have let's make a short break, 10 minutes, and then we start 15 minutes past.
So then we start with the papers?
Yes.
Should I just leave my
You could just leave it here, yeah. And for the paper sessions, if you could spend no more than 10 minutes per paper, no more.
Just 5 minutes if you want.
Whatever, but you don't extend it too much, but it doesn't have to be short, no. Whatever you prepare, but no more than 10 minutes per paper to be done in 40 minutes.
Yep.